Okay, guys, this is Sajin, and I'm doing the Plusage recording. Decided not to do a live video because there's nothing to see. It's understanding we need to gain from the amazing tarot we had last night. Again, to recap, in studying this today, I have found that out of 16 cards, we had 8 cards that were the same cards we got on the previous lunation. Yes, with an exception, they have changed locations in as far as the houses in the tarot spread go. That's important. That's what we need to investigate. What has changed and in what way has it changed and how can we benefit from that change? So yeah, I pretty much am blown away by the fact that 50% of our reading was a carryover from last lunation. So find a quiet place, close your eyes, listen. I will attach documents to this recording. It will be posted on Facebook because I can save my recordings there for you to listen to. I have no time limit there. And I can also attach documents. But as I said in my previous one, my handwriting's not all that great, so I would prefer to just read this to you and have you close your eyes and listen. Okay, so let's begin. All right, last lunation, Aries 16, invigoration. We were learning how to invigorate our lives. We remember that reading. Now here we are at lunation 1192, Taurus 15, sophistication, a man muffled up with a silk hat. Okay. I call it the magician degree. Last night during our reading, we referred to ourselves, or I referred to us, as the magician's apprentice. Seems like a class has formed here. All right, let me get on track here. So the first thing I want to bring out is that the Ready card, last lunation, telling us that our attitudes were right, that we were joined together seeking guidance. That card, the Seven of Hearts, last time, moved into the first house for this lunation, and the first house represents the entire reading. It is the issue brought to the tarot for understanding. We were seeking divine guidance on this degree of Taurus 15, our new moon, where Sol and Luna join together, sophistication. How do we fulfill this lunation? Divine guidance, please. That, like I said in my little intro on Instagram, is amazing. That our Ready card would now become the issue brought to the tarot seeking divine guidance. Very auspicious. All right, the next thing is I made a couple of blunders last night. Check me, always check me. You know, we got to have each other's backs in this. I completely skipped over the second house. I began calling the Seven of Hearts the second house and moved right into the third house. I never touched on the second house. Well, in hindsight, if it's 2020, it's probably because it would have been tough to hear the second house card last night, because it's that, excuse me just a minute, it's that archetypal energy that it permeates our world. It's that archetypal energy of the heartache. Yes, the Queen of Spades sat in the second house, and I jumped right over her last night. I also referred to the suits wrong last night. Not the suits, but the suits in connection with the tarot. But missing the second house entirely is huge. So you see, I need to correct that. And it's so funny, right? Because the third house is sensitiveness, and the third house says what you may be missing. Now, if I had, if I were a better magician, I would have said, oh, maybe I'm already missing the second house. Anyway, just kind of a tongue-in-cheek comment there, but honestly, the Queen of Spades sat in the second house, and she was the overseer of the present in our last lunation. So she came down from being the overseer and took her place she came down from being the overseer in the present last time and took her place in the second house of fluidity. So again, I'm saying we did something very good, because for the overseer to say, I have overseen their present well, now I can take my place as a worker among them in the present and help these things to flow. Help these things to flow. Fluidity. Again, a great message to us. All right. Okay. Now, she is of the air, spades. We have 3 in a row that are going to be of the air, so this has to do with our thoughts. So I will be providing a diagram that divides the circle into 4 that shows the different suits and what they're over, so you can understand where these repeat cards are. They're the same cards. Queen of Spades, air, our thoughts. She was overseeing, now she's in fluidity. We are thinking, it's in our thinking processes that we will be able to flow better now. Okay, we have 2 more spades that were in the, that we had in both lunations. The next one I want to talk about is the 5 of Spades. Now this is a huge one, because one of the cards I didn't give you last night was the key card. It has to be calculated. And it was the 5 of Spades. And the 5 of Spades is now playing a dual role for us. Last lunation, the 5 of Spades, which was degradation, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that we don't ever give up, that yes, there's been some loss here, but we can make up, recover it, and move on. Yeah, the degradation house. It was the second house last time. That was the fluidity was backwards and forwards, but you see now it's moved into the 3rd house of sensitiveness. And it could be what we're missing, so we need to kind of focus on this card. In fact, it also ends up being the calculated key card, which read in combination with, let me see this again, the calculated key card is read in conjunction with the ready card. So our thoughts and our thoughts about degradation, about this feeling like we've gone backwards, and being encouraged that we can still go forward, we can make up for it, we can go forward, also becomes the key card to be read with the ready card, which is the 7 of hearts. Oh, no. 8 of diamonds, which was to put a plusage sense into it, put more into it, which is what I'm trying to do in this recording. Put more into this reading, get a bigger, better understanding. This is how we can now make up for it and move forward. So it went from kind of a blockage in the last lunation to now it's where we're very sensitive to it, and we need to grab hold of understanding that this power of recovery and moving forward is to be read with the 8 of diamonds, which is the plusage sense. So to put more effort into it, and that's what it's saying. Don't miss out on that. It's by your putting more into it that you will be able to use this key and unlock your power to recover and go forward. All right, that's important. The other spade that I want to bring up is the 9 of Spades. Now this is amazing. This is the despair not. Yeah. So heartache's entered the situation again. There's a lot of heartache out there, and we are the ones that are saying despair not. Okay, last time it was in the 5th house as the way to step into the future, and guess what? It's still in the 5th house, an exact match. The 9 of Spades last time and this time in the 5th house, the way to go forward. You may as well just put a big sign on you that says despair not. This is how important, this is an exact match. The way to proceed is to despair not, because it's the house that is labeled despair. People have a sense of despair, and you are being called to say despair not. That is a club. No, that is a spade. That's in our thoughts. Now we're going to move on to a club. This is activity. It's fire. It's where we want to put our actions to work here. And that's the one that hung out from last time that we're not too thrilled about, mischief. But mischief changed houses. Mischief was the strength of the matter last time. It was how things were going to end, very mischievously, but we were warned so that they did not. So now mischief has moved. It's moved into the 7th house. We're about to meet mischief face to face, seeing ourselves. So it could be a mischievousness in us that we need to recognize. It could be how we handle mischievousness. We were told before to resist. So I'm just calling this to your attention. Mischievousness moved from the 4th house, the strength of the matter, into the 7th house, which is where we meet, we interact with other, but the other is like looking in a mirror. So we are probably going to be called up on our own mischievousness. That is my intuition. We're going to see where we are being mischievous. It's going to be called out. So be ready for that. And remember, despair not. You are going to press forward. You are going to see it. You are going to solve it. Any situation brought to your attention that you do not solve will rule you. You are capable of this. When you see your own mischievousness, deal with it. All right. The next one is we had the 4 of Diamonds. Now the 4 of Diamonds, we have 2 cards that are of the earth. 4 of Diamonds, and then we'll talk about the 6 of Diamonds. The 4 of Diamonds, these are both matters, earthy matters, okay? They are of the earth. They are matters. They are material. They have taken material form. And so this first one is a very good one. It was in the 8th house, the last lunation is, which is, we ask, oh, how do we avail ourselves of the resources of others? And it was thrown right back on us. You have the solution to every problem. It was basically telling us that we look within for the solution. How do we use the resources of others? Look inside of yourself for your solutions. So it was kind of like a boomerang. But it's moved out of that house, and it has moved into the 9th house. So I think this is another, congratulations are in order, because the 9th house is our state of understanding. We have a better understanding now that we can solve our problems. So when mischief shows up, we can solve that issue. Don't shoot the messenger. Own it. Identify your own mischievousness and get rid of it. Our state of understanding is now that we can solve problems. Okay, that's important. But it's also congratulations here. It has moved out of the 8th house of resources of others, turned back on us like a boomerang, into the 9th house. Our state of understanding has now improved. We understand that we can solve our problems. Congratulations. The next diamond material realm is vanity. And in the last house, it was in the 3rd house, sensitiveness, something we might be missing, to be careful of vanity because we're working with higher powers. We didn't accomplish this on our own. It moved out of that 3rd house where we were gaining a sensitivity to that linkage with our past, our heritage, our roots, right? And to know we're in partnership with a higher power and higher patterns. It's moved out of that 3rd house of being sensitive to it into the 10th house of what is in control here. Again, congratulations. You now have formed a material link and allowed that to be in control. You are working with your ancestry, with your heredity, with your heritage, with your legacy. You're doing these things. I'm very excited about that message. Okay, then we have, okay, so that's it. That's it. Those are the things that came forward. Now, if you just listen to the keywords, it might be a little discouraging. Not endowment, that's lovely, but how about heartache, degradation, despair, mischief, vanity? But see, that's why we discuss these cards. These are the mansions or the houses we're going into. That's the name on that house, and we show up. These things are not us. These things are where we're being called to serve. So we serve heartache by understanding that there's heartache out there and serving people who may not even be in a position to say thank you, but they need us. We're called to serve. Remember, we were told to be chivalrous. Good job. You did that. degradation, that we never give up, that we always move forward. It doesn't matter. We are making progress. Despair becomes, the house of despair becomes the message of despair not. Mischief is, I'm going to meet that in myself and I'm going to solve that. Because why? Solvency is also present from last time. We can solve our own problems. And vanity is now, that house is now in control, because what it's saying is, we have not been, it has not been in vain. We have understood that we are part of a higher power and a higher pattern. And so these are all congratulation messages. I am very excited about that. Now let me just go over quickly the things that did change. Okay, did change. Our past overseer changed to advantage. Okay, I'm not going to go through these in depth. It would be, I would think, at least I do, it would be good, at least on the quarters and the full moon, first and third quarter and full moon, to go back and watch the video again. I mean, you know, if you're really working this, if you're really working the lunations, then review time. But advantage is overseeing the past. And we can see that. Oh, I can see that right now. Overseeing the future, we have meaning, the Queen of Diamonds. Our ready card was a diamond, 8 of diamonds, craftsmanship, plusage. Our 11th house changed, which is what we're visualizing, and that was the 7 of spades. The 12th house was the 3 of hearts, that changed. The 6th house, the 9 of hearts, our wish card showed up there, maturity. In the 8th house, the 10 of clubs, decoration, to make things nicer, to put the plusage sense in. That was a repeated message this time. And then our 4th house, the King of Clubs, legacy. So we had new cards in past, present, and future. Again, if you've taken notes on this, you can go back and watch the video again at some later date, and just allow the sameness, the structure, honor that. They're all congratulation messages. And then look into the cards that have changed and just see what's new, what's come up, how is this being progressed along. So, okay, this is 17 minutes long now. That's all I want to say. I'll be putting up some documents later, but wanted to get this to you now. Thanks. Bye.